I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for joining me on this, as you can probably tell, impromptu video. I really should not be doing a video right now. Normally I go over and sit in the corner, have my nice little Clemson area over there. Everybody's used to seeing me in. But my wife is going to kill me when she sees all this crap in the background. But we're just going to pull this up just a little bit. You won't see it. I've got some memorabilia here that I'm having to sort out that I've got to put into storage. But anyway, I just want to talk about Clemson's National Signing Day. Everybody says it's early signing day, but now we know that it is like the new thing to do. I mean, it's been the thing to do for the past 5 to 7 years. And now this is really the signing day. This is the real signing day that that Clemson and so many other teams are taking advantage of. That they can have early enrollees. They'll have kids on campus in January. They're already living there. They'll be in the spring game in April, whenever that's going to be. And then after that, they'll be more acclimated to the team. They'll build relationships a lot better with their coaches, spend more time with their teammates, and so on. So anyway, National Signing Day for Clemson. Clemson signed some pretty good players, some really, really talented players. And I'm going to stop right here. There for a while, Clemson was signing the top 3 classes for a while. And I know that I have voiced my concerns about Clemson football and some of the things that I see that's going on. And I have many videos on that. Many as in M-A-N-Y, not many. But here's the deal. The athletes that we sign today, and I say we because I pay those outrageous prices to go see Clemson. I clear my calendar to go watch Clemson. I'm a fan, and the word fan is actually part of the word fanatic. That's where we get it from. You're a fan of a team, and you put a lot of time and energy into it. You buy their gear, you buy their flags, their football helmets, all this bunch of stuff. You are part of the team. You're not on the field. You're not going to go that far, but I do say we're part of a family, if you want to put it that way. So I know that I've talked about things that's went on with Clemson, but today we signed some really, really good players. I know that we did not have the recruiting class that Alabama did, which, by the way, did you see Alabama's recruiting class? Holy smokes. I mean, good Lord. There's a whole other video I could do on just that and that alone. When I have people come on here and ignorantly put in my comment section and go, 4 and 5 stars don't matter. Tell Alabama that. Tell them the success that they have had. Please tell them that doesn't matter. You're fooling yourself, sir. You're fooling yourself now. The majority of my viewers are men, so I could easily just say men and it would, But of course, the crown jewel of the recruiting class, and I'm going to get into this real quick. I'm going to read this real fast. Peter Woods from Alabaster, Alabama, we went in Alabama's back door. He's ranked, according to 247 Sports, number 33 overall. He is at this point the only 5-star that we got, according to 247 Sports. I know that kind of moves around when you get into ESPN and so on, but I mean, we still got Peter Woods, and I know that Deion Sanders and the entire that entire machine that is moving around. It just left Jackson State, which, by the way, it left Jackson State. They still couldn't, with all that talent, they still couldn't win a bowl game in that league. But I'll leave that alone. Peter Woods was contacted to go out there and play at Boulder, and he stuck with his commitment to Clemson. And the next up, Christopher Vizina, out of Alabama, another one. He's the next one up. He's a quarterback, 4-star, very talented athlete. We're very happy to have him, and we're hoping that he's going to be, another really good quarterback. Hopefully he won't be another quarterback that we end up having to replacing or underdeveloped like we have. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just the elephant in the place, replacing or underdeveloped like we have. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just the elephant in the room. I mean, if you were sitting in a small room and there's only 3 people there, and all of a sudden you start smelling this terrible fart. I mean, you can sit there and act like you don't smell it, but if it's really ferocious enough, you're going to vomit, and you're eventually going to blurt out which one of you did it. And they can't claim that one of the 3 didn't do it. I mean, that's how I feel about our quarterbacks and how underdeveloped that a lot of them are. But anyway, Christopher Vizina, I want to say Vizzini for some reason. Vizina signs with us. Hopefully he'll pan out, but that's a good thing for us. Vic Burley signed with us out of Warner Robins, Georgia. Tamarian Parker, defensive lineman, 6'4", 250, signed with us out of Phoenix City, Alabama. I mean, we've had a lot of success in Alabama. Had some real good pickups. Zechariah Owens, offensive tackle, 6'7", 365. Folks, I just want to pause right there and tell you, we need that bad. We need that. We need more of him blocking for us and giving our running backs a chance. And speaking of running backs, former NFL running back for the Falcons, the Dirty Bird, if everybody remembers that. I'm aging myself, late 90s, early 2000s. Jamal Anderson, his son, signed with us. He's linebacker out of Georgia, and it was good to see him. A.J. Terrell's brother, Avion, I think I'm saying that right. Forgive me if I'm not. He signed with us today. He's a cornerback. Yeah, a cornerback. Go figure. Out of Atlanta, and he's coming to play for the Tigers. David Ajiegbe, I don't know if I'm pronouncing. Y'all, I gave up a long time ago trying to pronounce these names. But the good thing is he signed with Clemson, and he's an incredible edge rusher. Signed Ian Reed, offensive tackle, 6'6", 315. I could keep going. We got some really good players who went ahead and they signed with Clemson. They didn't get pulled in 60, 70 different directions. We didn't get ahead and they signed with Clemson. They didn't get pulled in 60, 70 different directions. We didn't get IMG this year because we didn't deal with IMG. I mean, that's just, I hate to say that, but that's exactly what is happening with IMG. Now we got Khalil Barnes. He signed 3-star out of North Oconee. There's a bunch more players here. You can go look at this list for yourself on 247 Sports. I have no affiliation with them. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not making money off of them. They're not paying me to mention their site. But the site that I'm using to look at this. Steffiline Green, defensive lineman, 6'4", 267, signed out of Georgia. We do very well out of Georgia. Got another lineman, 6'4", 300, out of Permian, Odessa, Texas. Yeah, that makes you think of all those high school TV shows. I think, was it Friday Night Lights? Was that what it was called? I can't remember. But anyway, Clemson does have a good, solid recruiting class now. According to 247 Sports, Clemson is ranked number 11. They were down to number 12, but they're at number 11 for recruiting. And let me see. Got a couple of. Parker Henderson says, love the new view. Yeah, the new view. What's odd, I'm looking at this, and the lighting actually looks really good. It actually looks quite good. Now, I haven't combed my hair today. I admit that. I work remote. I have had, 4 meetings. I just got out of a company meeting just a second ago, and I'm filling in playing guitar at church tonight. And found out about that about 7:30 this morning. So I'm going to have to leave. I'm going to have to get ready and go in just a second. But yeah, the view is not too terribly bad until you get right there. I'm serious. If my wife sees it, she's going to get right there. I'm serious. If my wife sees it, she's going to lay a golden brick a golden brick. If that's the case, I might want to see this. We can make some money off of that. But anyway, Parker Henderson says, love the new view. Frank Rizzo, what's up from California? What's up, Frank? I'm glad you're here. Turner, Kirby, outside of the guys leaving because of coaching changes last year, Clemson really hasn't had any drama on National Signing Day in terms of guys leaving. Taco Gaming 75 says, what is up, guy? Brian, what is up to you? Turner. I spoke with someone who writes for Sports Illustrated, writes for a few other publications, and I know people think that I'm just making this up, but let me put it this way: when people tell you stuff in private, you don't use their names, because if you do, they won't continue to find out good stuff that they can tell you in private. Capiche? To use Uncle Jesse off of Full House term. Capiche? To use Uncle Jesse off of Full House term. You keep your you keep your mouth shut. You honor those. If you honor those commitments, they'll tell you stuff. So I asked them point blank, how was Clemson's relationship with IMG? And this person said to me that there was a target in the Columbia, South Carolina area. He was on Clemson's board. He left his high school in South Carolina. He went down to IMG. As soon as Clemson found out that he was at IMG, what did he do? Or what did they do? Clemson took him off their board. Clemson is done with IMG. There will have to be some significant changes. Now, I'll tell you this. I've been critical of Sweeney's use or lack thereof the portal, which by the way, everyone, I'm hearing about Fentrell. Was it Fentrell Cypress, the guy out of Virginia? He's from Rock Hill, South Carolina, which for those of you who need a geography lesson, I don't mean it as a smart aleck. I'm just saying you don't know. Rock Hill is about 30 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's right below the North Carolina, South Carolina line. But so he's close to Clemson, a lot closer to Clemson than he was to Virginia. And he's a top cornerback. A lot of people would like to have him. We would like to have him. I keep having people going, well, Brian, you're wrong. Dabo is trying to go into the portal, and he's talking to Fentrell Cypress or whatever his name is, and a few other people. And I'm just going to tell you, folks, if I'm understanding correctly, Cypress is going to end up at Florida State, and I know that there's that video that they play at the beginning of every game or in the middle of every game talking about NIL deals. We're going to do it the right way, and hey, we should do everything the right way. But to me, I equate this with taxes. You'll hear people who will wet their drawers over loops in the tax code that the tax code gives you. So the tax code was written in a particular, for it, just going on a tangent, and I really don't have time for this. I got to shut up. But if you become a corporation, if you become an LLC, that was created for certain tax benefits. So if you go form an LLC today and you save money because you formed an LLC, some of you are not going to like this. You're not a criminal. Sounded like NPR, didn't it? Next up, we're going to teach you how to make organic kale muffins. I can't. I can't keep doing this. So the point is, the NCAA is going to allow you to do certain things, and other teams are going to take advantage of it, but you're not. In the long run, that's on you if you don't have the best talent out there on the field. You can walk off a field after getting the other team's cleat broke off in your butt, and you can say, well, at least we hobble back to our locker room knowing we did it the right way. And it's like, well, they did it too. They did what the rules allowed them to do, and that's the reason they beat the crap out of you. I don't know, folks. I do believe that within 5 years, we're going to start to see a lot of this pan out. We know it. You know it. I believe it. Parker Henderson talked about the non-compete. I could definitely see that. I think that parents are going to get sick and tired of having their kids basically chase a coach around the country. We see that. We've seen it with other coaches. We've seen it with Dion. Travis Hunter's acting like, well, when I get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, that's when I will announce when and where I'm going. That's good for a businessman and so on. You got to remember, this kid is a year removed from high school. Can you imagine yourself at 18, 19 years old? This kid is a year removed from high school. Can you imagine yourself at 18, 19 years old trying to play this big corporate game? I mean, I'm 40 and I'm telling you, it's tough. So, good for him. Good for him. Good for him. I hope he has some solid people in his ear telling him how to manage that money. I don't know. I don't know. I could keep talking about that forever. But I am proud of the players that we did get. And, we need to continue to get better, and we need to continue to sign a lot of players. Alabama is going to be, I'm going to read you as of right now. I mean, this is about 4:45 National Signing Day, the 4:45 in almost the evening. At this point, Alabama is the #1 recruiting class, 27 commits, 6 5-stars, 24 stars. So for anyone who's asking, just listen to the name of the teams, the majority of them in here. Okay? So they're at #1. Georgia, 26 commits, 2 5-stars, 24 stars. Okay, here's a team that we're all sitting here knowing they're buying talent, but they are not winning with it, and it's Texas. Texas is #3, 22 commits, 4 5-stars, and 10 4-stars. Here's another one that I'm going it's #4, Miami, 26 commits. That includes 3 5-stars, 14 4-stars. Okay, so those two teams right there have been underperforming for many, many years. I mean, many, many years. The last time Texas was good, I wasn't even married. And I've been married for over 10 years. Last time Texas was good. Miami, the last time Miami was truly good, my oldest wasn't even born. Okay, he's 16. Last time Miami was good. Ohio State's #5. Okay, you can buy Ohio State because Ohio State has, they're going to be in the playoff. Shouldn't be, but they're going to be in the playoff. 1 5-star, 18 4-stars. That's a big deal. LSU at #6. They're at #6. 25 commits, 1 5-star, 18 4-stars. Oklahoma, #7, 24 commits, 2 5-stars, 13 4-stars. And you can keep reading out. Tennessee finishes out the top 10, 25 commits, 1 5-star, 12 4-stars. Clemson has, they're at #11, 1 5-star, that would be Peter Woods, and then 18 4-stars. That's incredible. But I want you to go back into the top 5 teams. 3 of those top 5 teams are consistently playing in contention for the college football playoff. So the next time someone comes along and goes, 4 and 5 stars, 5 stars don't pan out. I know that all 4 stars don't pan out. I get it. And I know what Boise State's done with 2 and 3 stars. And I know that Hunter Renfrow was a preferred walk-on out of Sacastee, and he was playing quarterback in an option style. Okay, that's fan-flipping-tastic. The majority of these players who are playing for Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Clemson, I'm going to even exclude Clemson because I think there's development issues, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, we can talk. Defensively, I'll stand toe-to-toe, shoulder-to-shoulder with anybody on Clemson's development of their defensive talent. Offensively, but I'm just going to talk about Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. These teams are putting NFL talent into play consistently all the time. Their 4 and 5 stars are panning out, folks. So don't give me a bunch of bull crap just to make yourself feel better. You're probably the same person who goes to the Dollar General and thinks that the product that you're buying there versus some boutique shop, that it's just as good. Well, in some cases it is, but the majority of the time you're just buying pure crap. And I get sick of that, because it is just the undermining of all the good stuff. All the good stuff that you do get out of recruiting good players, because by your mindset, you're just saying that Peter Woods, yeah, he's a 5-star and he's incredible and he's this, that, and the other. He really doesn't matter. A 5-star is just as good as a 3-star. Bull. I don't want to hear it. Tiger Cat getting in here. Big LSU fan. Good to see you, Tiger Cat. It's been a while. Also, by the way, 44 people's in here, only 7 thumbs up. Remember, subscribe. It's free. Hit thumbs up. Definitely free. And notifications. Hit the notifications, and that's free as well. Amon, let me see. Hey, with a big class of 26 plus Bama QB plus guys returning, you think we'll be close to 85? Now, honestly, I haven't looked at those numbers yet, but I will tell you this. If there are any holes that we can adequately fill with transfer players, we need to figure out how to do it. And I'm going to say something else that is going to kick off a lot of people as well. Daniel High School, for those of you who does not know Daniel High School, I live here in the upstate of South Carolina. I grew up in Seneca, which is within 10 minutes of Clemson University. Daniel High School, the actual physical high school, is within 10 minutes. It's probably 5 miles from Clemson? Yeah, I would say so, about 5 miles from Clemson. It's produced DeAndre Hopkins. It's produced Shaq Lawson, Grady Jarrett. Forgive me if I forgot someone else. It's produced some great players. They won 2 state championships in a row. This year they got robbed in the playoffs. If you know, you know. I'm not going through that. I just looked at what time it is. I have to be at rehearsal in 45 minutes. I still need to shower. But my point in saying all of this is this. Daniel High School has a lot of talent at it. But Daniel High School's ended up with players on Clemson's team who, had they not played at Daniel, they would have never even sniffed Death Valley unless someone paid for them to go in. And if some of the rumors that I'm hearing are true, there are players who were walk-ons and they're getting scholarship just because they went to Daniel High School and they're friends with so-and-so and they work hard and they're good kids. No offense to Daniel, because they put out some great. In fact, I know Daniel's head football coach. I hadn't seen him in a while, but one of our friends, we're actually really good friends. His really good friend is really good friends with me. In fact, he texted me yesterday. Really good friends with me. In fact, he texted me yesterday, was in town, wanted to try to get together and get a bite to eat, but I was on my way out to take my son out for his birthday celebration. Bobby Durkins Jr. turned 7 yesterday. So we didn't get to meet up. So it's not like I have a bad reputation or a bad relationship with Daniel. In fact, I pull for Daniel. I hope they do well. But if there are players on Clemson's football team who's holding down a scholarship that shouldn't have that scholarship, it needs to be vacated, and we need to give it to someone who can actually hit the field and drive us to a championship. To quote the grandpa on National Lampoon Christmas Vacation, when Clark's standing out in front of the house after he's put 20,000 plus lights on the house, and he's brought the family out there into the cold. They're standing in the night's air with snow around them, and he takes the cord that plug it up, and the light's supposed to illuminate, blow everybody's mind. He puts it together, and of course, we all know that everybody's mind. He puts it together, and of course, we all know that The outlet was not turned on. The switch that was, God, that's one of my favorite movies, period. And then Audrey, Juliette Lewis, believe it or not, with blonde hair, looks at him and goes, or that everybody, like his in-laws, is like giving him a bunch of crap. And Juliette Lewis looks at her grandpa, Clark's father-in-law, and says, Grandpa, Dad works real hard. And what did he infamously say back to her? The old grumpy grandpa, the father-in-law to Clark W. Griswold, looks at her and says, so do washing machines. Folks, I'm not taking a shot at any young man who has a scholarship on Clemson football team. But the whole prerequisite, just because they work hard, they should have a scholarship. That's insulting to guys like Peter Woods, who's a 5-star coming in. That's an insult to guys like Cade Klubnik, who never lost a game in high school, competing at the highest level in high school football. That is a kick in the unmentionables to guys like Will Shipley. That is a kick, because this is what it says. It says it doesn't matter if you're talented. It doesn't matter if you're producing. You just work hard. You can work hard and not produce. I'm going to tell you this. I have worked some really, really, really hard jobs that did not pay my bills. Not even remotely. I mean, I was having to do side work. The job that I have now challenges me, but it is one of the most manageable jobs I've ever had in my entire life. And it takes care of us. So just because someone works hard doesn't mean that they should receive a scholarship. And if any of that is remotely true, to long form answer your questions, if any of those 86 or 85 players, is scholarships given to guys who they just work hard, we can't get nobody to sign, except for someone who wants to be a GA in a football uniform. There's a problem there. There is a problem there. We'll see. Answer a few more questions. Turner Kirby says, what are your thoughts on Dabo's idea about moving National Signing Day to before season? I'm not against that. But at the same time, I think that we could miss out on some guys who their recruiting stock could go up. I've seen recruiting stock go down with players. I think you need to watch those players play that season and see imagine this. Let's just say you're a top 10 recruit in high school going into your senior season. It's went to your head a bit, Come out there, maybe you're playing kind of lazy, and you can fool the fans in the stands, but you're not fooling the coaches. They're like, yeah, we might have a problem on our hands. That would be one thing I would see to where that would become a problem, but I don't know. John Gangumi, please forgive me for mispronouncing your last name. Clemson does not have the money to compete with the bigger schools on this free agency, no salary cap situation. I mean, that is exactly what we're watching, folks. This is glorified money laundering. I did like 3 whole videos on what this is. This is money laundering. Texas got one of the worst deals I've ever seen in my entire life. Their running backs driving a Lamborghini, and they lost 4 ball games. One of those was to Alabama by 1 point. Okay, you can say, all right, that was a good, hard-fought game. All the variables, Sark used to coach for them, blah, 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 blah. What about the other games? What about the other games? And don't get me started on the poor player whose family is struggling at home. That's not helping them either. That was a lie. That was like a lot of these bills that you see that our government passes. They'll pass these bills. They'll give it some grandiose, sweet, wonderful name. Man, it just sounds as loving and caring, as kind as everything. It's like, we're really going to help people. but we got to pass it fast. If we pass it fast, nobody will have time to read it. Excuse me? Excuse me? I don't, what do you mean? And you're taking our tax money for that? What? Don't you want to help people? Of course I do. I just want to make sure it's actually helping people. Oh, what an idiot am I? And then you start getting into the bill and you figure out, guess what? You figure out that there's stuff going to stuff like, the retarded turtles fund. And I know someone just got offended that I use retarded. I am not calling people that. I'm talking about a turtle. It's like, why do we need $50 million going to a retarded turtles fund? You're not the poor players, their families that are poor and hurting, unless those players are a highly sought after player who someone is willing to give a lot of NIL money. Listen to me and listen to me closely. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me, just join here because you completely and totally hate me and you think my accent is ridiculous. Just listen to me for 1 second. You didn't help nobody. Those poor players are still poor. Unless they're an Arch Manning, and Arch Manning's not poor, we know that. Thanks to grandpa, uncle, and dad. He doesn't need the money, folks. He's fine. It doesn't mean that he shouldn't receive the money. I'm not even going to say, oh, well, you need to spread it out among everybody. No, I'm just saying, let's not lie to ourselves. Bullcrap. The players who are still poor, their families who are still struggling, they're still struggling. And you know who's standing in the way of helping them? It's on the side of every collegiate football hat, shirt, article. It says NCAA. That's who's standing in the way. They're not helping doing anything. Unless they get a cut of the pie, they could care less if so-and-so player's family is rotting and eating their own hair, as long as they don't receive dollars that's unaccounted for. But they can do it through NIL. The only way organizations like this are held accountable is if we hold them accountable. That's the only way. That's the only way. That's the only way. But between you and I have much bigger fish to fry than the NCAA. Frank Rizzo says transfer portal is basically free agency with no rules, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the biggest victims of the free agency, we just watched it, Jackson State. There was a lot of ceremoniously things done there. I don't like what I watched there. I think that victimized an entire community group. I'm saying too much right here. I'm probably going to get insulted for this, but that's totally fine. I'm used to it. It was an idea that Deion Sanders was going down to help the historic HBCU. I always get it mixed up. HBCU, going to help the HBCU. Yeah, how much help have they had? He's leaving. Travis Hunter ain't staying. He's taking his sons with him. And I'm sorry, I've got to be. I know some people are going to get really mad at me, but I'm sorry. This is just the truth. You can forget what I look like and what I sound like, but I promise you this. This is crazy. He leaves the HBCU to go to one of the widest universities and states in the union. What? If that's not the sickest joke in the world, Deion's one of the greatest athletes to ever play the game. He's also one of the most into himself individuals I've ever seen in my entire life. Only now he claims that it's God elevating him. Just real quick, remember where I said I was going after this? I'm going to church. I am a Christian. I'm not attacking this guy, but I'm going to tell you this. God does not need me. I need him. God didn't mess this thing up. He created it. Man messed it up. And when I hear Deion talk, I'm not saying he's not a Christian. I'm not saying that, folks. Some of you are like, I don't even hear this. That's fine. But I'm going to say this, when you hear an individual talk about God and the only thing that individual talks about is how God is making this individual's dreams, it's just all about them. God's elevating me. God is giving me this. God is making me this. But God is making me better than y'all. God is he never said that, but if you listen to it. Yeah, I think they're using God as a genie instead of just living for him. I'm not, once again, I don't know his walk, but I know in that interview that he had, or not the interview, the job acceptance speech for Colorado, he talked a lot about how God was just making him, just putting him in places just for this, that, and the other. And it's just like, dude, this is for your glory. It's not for God. And you need to get in a good Bible study. And that really bothered me. I've been holding that in. Unless you really know me, you know I don't talk about that. But that really, really bothered me. I couldn't even finish watching it. I was like, I owe my life to Christ. I don't, less of me, more of him. And all I'm hearing is more of Deion. It's like, good grief. You just lied to an entire university, into an entire ethnic group. Come down here and play football for me, and let's get the talent back down here, and let's stop letting what he basically was saying was stop letting the white man rob the talent and go to these big schools. That's what the idea was. And he may never said that, but that was the idea. And then as soon as another job comes along, it's just too much for me. Once again, I've said way too much. I got to go to church. I probably need to pray right now, but yeah, Rick, your Vols had a great signing day. Fantastic signing day. Looking good, looking ready for the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have more videos coming out about that. Tiger Nation's in here said money ruins so much stuff. I don't have a problem with people having money. I don't have a problem with people having success. But we've always heard that money will amplify your personality, and a lot of times it'll amplify the bad things. So if the bad things are kind of out of control on a even with you on a low scale of monetary value and access to power, man, if you don't have it, like going back to what I was saying, turning it over to Christ, really submitting to him and saying, I realize I'm a mess and I need to abide by your rules and not mine. Yeah, you'll get money and you'll become one of the worst people ever. But then again, that goes back to the question, well, aren't you also a terrible person? Okay, I got to shut up. I got to go. Clemson, congratulations. You signed a really good class. I want us to continue to grow. We got an issue on the offensive side of the ball. And hopefully Cade Klubnik is going to help turn things around, and the coaching staff will fix things on their side, and he will not be just another generational talent who puts a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, which we've seen that happen with Clemson, especially in the latter part of Trevor Lawrence's career. It just covered up poor coaching. Folks, I'm going to shut up. I'm running late now, and that's my fault. Thank you so much for joining me. Even if you disagree with the 75%, 90% of the things I said here, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. I want to tell you this. Started this channel 4 months ago because Bobby Durkins Jr. told me to. He was like, Dad, you got to do this. He's been telling me for 3 or 4 years now. He said, you like talking football, and I know you love the Bobby Durkins thing, but I really think people would tune in and check you out. And in 4 months,